Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever wondered what happens when a family reunion goes demonic? Buckle up because today we're diving into Evil Dead Rise, a 2023 horror film. In this movie, estranged sisters reunite, but things get bloody fast when flesh-possessing demons crash the party. So without any delay, let's go straight to the video and see whether they survived this nightmarish family fight or not. So the movie starts with a creepy scene, showing cottages and jungles as usual,
where we see three friends, Jessica, Caleb, and Teresa, having fun in the same jungle away from the town, who were having fun on the edge of the lake. But we noticed that while Caleb and Teresa were having fun here, Jessica was not there. And this happens because Jessica was not well. She comes inside to meet Jessica, but she does not do much. She talks. Teresa begins to read a book, enjoying time with Jessica, but then Jessica reads aloud in a demonic voice without glancing at the book, surprising Teresa. Now Jessica suddenly becomes possessed and starts vomiting, and her eyes change color. This looked like a demonic possession. Now due to possession, she even pulls out Teresa's scalp, and then goes outside to lake and brings Caleb's head from the body. We can now see the possessed Jessica levitating in the air, and Teresa is watching all this while crying in such a way. And here the movie Evil Dead Rise starts. But now you might not have understood much that who were these three here, who are right from the position. So to understand this thing, we have to go one day before, where all this started. Well, now the location is Los Angeles, and we see an old apartment building which was going to be demolished soon, as the building was in a very bad condition. It could collapse anytime. Here we can see a lady tattoo test Ellie, who lives with her three children, who are son Danny, his sister Bridget, and Cassie, the younger sister, has spent the last 2 months living apart from her husband due to their disagreements. That same evening, Ellie's sister Beth visits in her apartment. Distressed, Beth, who is a concert vocalist, had to abandon her concert series upon discovering her pregnancy, a reality she found hard to accept. In fact, she does not tell this to her sister or anyone else for now. At that time, Beth is giving gifts to everyone, and she brings a gift for Ellie's husband as well. But then a tense atmosphere prevails, and Ellie sends the children to bring pizza for her aunt to talk to her sister. Well, when Ellie comes to know about Ellie and her husband's separation, she gets sad and tells her sister that she should have informed her about this. But Ellie says that she called her twice, once when she got separated, and the second time when she came to this apartment because she did not have much money. Hearing this, Beth feels bad and apologizes to her sister. When the three children are carrying pizza and sodas, an earthquake hits, registering on the 5.1 Richter scale, causing cracks to form in the car park. Ellie and Beth upstairs are frightened, and the kids below huddle in fear, yet soon, calm returns. This situation complicates when Time notices an earthquake-induced hole in the parking area, big enough to enter. Being naturally mischievous, he descends to discover numerous books, and he finds some devastating records. Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. He also finds a photo in which there are 3 priests. Along with that, he finds a sealed grave, and there were many holy crosses around it, which clearly indicated that they were containing some evil. Basically, it was like a vault. But Danny takes out something from the hole in the grave, and then the statue of Jesus Christ falls down from there, which means that whatever was there was very powerful and evil. That's why it was contained here like this. Otherwise, having so many clauses, and the statue of Jesus Christ does not make any sense. As soon as Danny removes the cloth from that thing, a lot of insects fly over that thing, and it is nothing but the famous book of the Evil Dead franchise, which was kept hidden here. But the stupid Danny takes records and this book with him. Now his mother Ellie was getting worried about all this, and at the same time news was also coming on the news channel that an earthquake has hit the area around their building. Ellie now asks the neighbor boy Gabriel for help to find her children. An old man is still there who talks to Beth because she is new there. But then Ellie's 3 children come up in the lift, which relaxes her. At the same time, she also scolds them that the lift should not be used during an earthquake. And then Danny takes the book and renal records inside to his room. Meanwhile, Ellie goes to the elevator to do the laundry, and Beth takes Cassie to take a bath. But Danny is obsessed with that book and the renals record, and he tries to open the book in front of the Bridget. But the book was closed with something like pointed teeth. It seems that it is not a book, but someone's mouth, and then Danny's finger gets cut by those teeth, and only a few drops of blood fall on the book, which is shockingly absorbed by the book, and the book opens. Now inside this book, there were strange pictures, incantations, which were very scary. And somehow, Bridget stops Danny from turning the pages of the book. But Danny was not going to listen now. He starts listening to the renal records one by one, where in the first part, a priest or a father starts telling about this book, that this book is one of the 3 books of Natu de Monto, or one of the 3 parts, which is called the Book of the Dead. And he, along with his companions, has tried to translate it so that they can know the spells and secrets of the old times. Or should we say about the old civilization? And we can see that Danny was going crazy to run the book and the next record. Now he runs the second destruction record, which had the book spells, and Father was reading it. But then these records become demonic, and Danny tries a lot to stop it, but it doesn't stop. And he is neither able to stop the record nor break it, as the demonic entity was getting desperate to come out. And then a demonic entity possesses Ellie in the lift itself, which was quite awful and hurtful. The demon breaks her limbs and assaults her fiercely. The floor's light also goes out. Danny is stunned by the sight, as the book's pages flip by themselves, and both Beth and Cassie are frightened by the darkness. The visitor realizes the blackout is isolated to their home, indicating the impending trouble is very close. Now it comes up, which did not look right at all. Just like what happened with Jessica in the initial scene, Ellie has been possessed here as well. We saw all her bones broken inside the lift. In fact, it was clearly visible that some invisible power is inside her. Ellie now starts cooking raw eggs by breaking them in the kitchen. And when Beth and the children come to talk to her, she talks strangely and laughs. And after scaring them all, Ellie regains consciousness and says only one thing, that he is inside me, and don't let him harm my children. Well, after this, Ellie vomits a lot, just like Jessica did, and she collapses right there. Well, now, Beth and Danny try to take Ellie to the hospital, but they were scared to go in the lift, and the stairs were also completely broken, which might have happened due to earthquake, or it might be demonic power. Anyway, Ellie is now lie down in the room because they think that she is dead. Gabriel now closes Ellie's eyes, but strangely her eyes open automatically. He closes them again, but this time the eyes remain closed, so everyone thinks that she is dead. Now, they escape the building. Maybe it was the fire exit which was closed. Beth is sitting next to her dead sister and telling her sorrow. But then a phone call comes, which was from Ellie, in which she was saying that I am burning alive, save me, and then the phone screen cracks. And then suddenly Ellie's eyes open and she sits up. Now when the demon touches her, her body starts burning and throws her in the bathtub. But then Ellie climbs on the wall and screams so loudly that Beth and everyone else almost faints. At the same time, the water in the bathtub also starts boiling. Ellie now starts attacking all the family members one by one, and Ellie turns on the tattoo needle and uses her blood as an ink and puts it on Bridget's right cheek. She was about to kill him, but somehow the Danny kills Ellie and drives her away, because he knew that some entity has come here. And then the famous scene of the trailer comes, and just then a Gabriel and Mr. Fonder come inside, who gets scared after seeing her. But Ellie attacks on Gabriel and takes out one of his eyes with her mouth and throws it inside the mouth of her neighbor, who likes Bridget. Beth takes advantage of the situation and closes the gate of the apartment. Beth and the others notices through the gate's gap that the Ellie has slain Gabriel and numerous individuals. Mr. Fonda fires at Ellie, yet she also kills him since this supernatural entity can't be destroyed easily. Bridget clashes with his brother, realizing all these events began when the book entered their home and he played the records. Beth intervenes, stating fighting among themselves solves nothing. Then possessed Ellie convinced Cassie to open the door by talking sweetly and begins to choke her, but the Beth intervenes. At the same time, Bridget's wound starts acting oddly. Dark fluid begins to flow from her mouth, ears, and nose. Following that, Bridget expels worms, and after that, she becomes possessed. Essentially, she turns into a corpse diet, which is a renowned concept in the series. When Beth visits her in the kitchen, she's consuming glass, and her appearance plainly shows she's possessed. Ellie had used a tattoo machine to indent her face with her blood. So that's where it happened. It's like an infection, or a kind of a plague. Anyway, Bridget uses a cheese grater to grate Beth's leg skin, which was quite shocking, but somehow Beth manages to escape. And then Bridget does attack on Danny and Cassie, but the doll made by Cassie goes through Bridget's head, which makes her fall down, and Cassie's words about her doll saving her come true. Cassie, Beth, and Danny were shocked that all this happened to them, and they found it to be a nightmare. But for safety, Danny ties the Bridget to a bed. Danny finally tells the Beth about the book found in the parking hall, i.e. Naturo de Monto, the Book of the Dead, and some records. Danny mentioned he'd only played 2 albums, and during the second, specific incantations triggered everything. The third album remains unheard due to a lack of light and a broken record player. However, Beth, passionate about music, managed to repair it. She began listening to the third album through headphones, ensuring only she could hear it to limit any potential harm to herself. Everyone deserves such an ideal aunt. Simultaneously, the Bridget rises and Ellie begins to enter the flat via the LED light, or the demon or entity was quite clever. Beth becomes aware of the entire situation, and friends, now the true pages of this film and book are disclosed here. In fact, this book was discovered by this priest and father who aimed to translate it, yet the church expelled them for such blasphemy. It was a demonic book crafted from human skin, and every word inscribed within was penned by a person or noted as a sacrifice. Due to this, it contains spells to call upon hell's most dreadful women demon and write in various other techniques. The priests aimed to make these concepts clear to the masses, yet the father admits it was his greatest error, affirming the church's correctness. This entity or demon is taker of souls, and it cannot be destroyed. It can only be imprisoned or run away from. And this was the reason that even the members of the father's own group lost their lives, and somehow they imprisoned it inside a secret world and kept it under God's protection so that it could not come out. But Danny got attracted to the presence of the book, and the demon freed himself again by making him read spells. Father also mentioned that prayers or exorcisms don't affect it. Now, because of this demon's blood or the injuries, it causes individuals transform into termites, or if a segment of this termite infiltrates them through those wounds, making them possessed and maintaining a connection between demon and deadites. When reviewing the records, 2 events occur. Bridget ends up stabbing her brother Danny in the kitchen, and he sets her ablaze, causing her to collapse. Only then Ellie enters the same room where the record is kept and tries to fight Beth, but Beth obviously fails to fight. In fact, Ellie herself communicates through records and mocks that i.e. this entity, cannot be defeated. Now only Cassie and Beth were left. Danny comes out in a wounded state and is killed. Cassie hides, but Ellie comes to kill Beth, and Demon realizes that Beth is pregnant and he has 2 souls to take. He was very happy, but when Cassie realizes that her aunt is going to be a mother, she gives her a scissor, which she hits on Ellie's mouth, due to which Ellie stops there for some time. In reality, this demon was quite fond of engaging in amusement. He took pleasure in tormenting his victims. The greater the fear instilled in the souls, the better it was for him. Cassie and Beth reach the hall, where Beth tries to shatter the exit door using Mr. Fonda's gun. Suddenly, Ellie awakens, then Beth shoots on Ellie's leg. Additionally, Ellie loses her hand. Ellie starts sweet-talking Cassie to trap her, but Cassie resists, declaring she's not her mother. Gradually, all victims turn into deadly creatures. After which, Cassie and Beth had no other option but to escape through the lift. But the lift was not closing because the house keys were lying there, and also the car keys, because when Ellie was possessed, she had these keys in her hand. Cassie plays smartly here and keeps the keys with herself, due to which the lift closes. But we see that the Danny and Bridget possessed inside Ellie's body join themselves, due to which the lift starts filling with blood. That was a very terrible scene. As the lift descended, blood rose, and the Book of the Dead began to flip automatically, revealing a page. There is a creature with many hands and legs, and the Ellie changes into this creature. Now the lift somehow comes down and starts opening due to overloading. Notice the numerous small details that have been meticulously addressed, making this film excellent. Then both characters, drenched in blood, flee in the car. However, the car becomes trapped in a crevice, just as Illy demon appears amidst heavy fog, a manifestation of his power. This demon grabs Cassie, intending to kill her using a saw, but the Beth intervenes and saves her. At that moment, Ellie demon about to kill Beth with Grinder, then Cassie halts it and hurls the fatal saw at the demon. Then she turns on the saw, which leads to the demise of this group, including Ellie, Danny, and Bridget. It's shocking to end one's family by their own hand. Afterward, they depart, yet the demon isn't vanquished. The book remains, and their vessel is gone. They shouldn't have left, yet what choice was there? After causing much destruction, we witness the next day's scene where a girl enters the elevator. This is the same girl who was shown at the beginning of the movie, named Jessica. Indeed, she resided on the same building's second floor, indicating the opening scene was set in the present. But how did she fail to hear any voices? Perhaps the demon's power isolated everyone. Well, now, after coming to the parking lot, she asks Teresa to pick her up in 15 minutes. And then she notices that there is blood all over the place, and she's about to call the police out of fear. But then the taker of souls, i.e. the demon, captures Jessica, because the only dead body found there was dead. That this demon, who was still roaming free, was in search of his new vessel, which Jessica becomes. Now you must have understood the starting scene, that why Jessica was doing all this.
So this was the wild ride that is Evil Dead Rise. Did you enjoy the demonic family reunion? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're hungry for more movie recaps, hit that subscribe button for a dose of horror goodness.